Alright, so if you guys are not aware, we will probably be getting some news on the October 28th. So in approximately 2 weeks, Demon Slayer will have a stage at an event, which we could get some news. I guess we'll see. If we get a trailer or just some news about season 4, don't worry, I'll be telling you guys on the channel, so stay tuned. Today we'll be ranking every chapters of the Hashira training arc from worst to best. So this will be starting from chapter 128 to chapter 139. I will be trying to rank those from an objective standpoint, so not necessarily my favorite chapters, but as well as just in general, in terms of the story, the writing, the character development, the moments, and just how enjoyable the chapter was. And there will be some subjective point of views, like just from my own taste, so give me your personal rating in the comments after you've watched this video. It's gonna be cool. Don't forget to subscribe to don't miss out on the rest of the Demon Slayer content, and like the video if you enjoyed this type of content, and let's go. Those rankings were not easy to do because I love every single chapter in this arc. I think they're all super good. At the 12th place, we have chapter 134 called Repetitive Action. This chapter is basically the start of the training with Guillaume, which is basically the last stage of the Hashira training arc. This chapter has mostly comedic relief. There's a lot of comedic just moments in this chapter, a lot of funny moments. I do think the Hashira training arc is probably the arc where the comedy is at its best in Demon Slayer, at least to me. I think it's cool to see the boys, you know, Inosuke, Tanjiro, Zenitsu just talking and eating around kind of like a campfire, low-key. And there's this line by Inosuke here saying that Guillaume is the strongest of the Demon Slayer corps, and even Tanjiro agrees. We do get the repetitive action kind of explained here with Genya, so we kind of understand a little bit of what Genya was doing in the Swordsmith Village, and it's cool to see Genya and Tanjiro just talking, being friends, and just like furthering their relationship. I think the best part of this chapter is at the end, where we see Nakime's eyes moving and just tracking the Demon Slayer Corps. We are back in the Infinity Castle, so it's cool. You always love to be there, and we get the reveal that Nakime is Upper Moon 4 now. She is replacing Tengu, and it's cool to see Muzan at the end here saying that he is searching for Nezuko and he is really close to finding her, and just him seeing I will soon find Nezuko and ubayashiki, so it's a really cool moment to end this here. At the 11th place, we have chapter 128, a request from instruction. So this is the first chapter after the Swordsmith Village arc. This will be starting season 4. We basically just get the classic Tanjiro recovering with Goto, just talking about the Swordsmith Village changing place. It's cool to see Nezuko in the sun, and obviously we see Zenitsu back screaming as usual. There is a really funny moment with Nezuko saying welcome back Inosuke to Zenitsu, and then Zenitsu is like, I'm gonna kill that guy. But obviously the biggest part of this whole chapter is the Hashira meeting starting, so we get to see all the Hashira back, you know, Sanemi, Iguro. Yeah, it's just cool to see all the Hashiras together. I think the anime is gonna elevate this sequence as well even more. It's really cool because in this we can really see Guillaume kind of being in the front, the bigger guy. It does show us that, yeah, Guillaume is probably the strongest or the leader just of his presence here. We get more explanation on the mark, which is really cool. We even get to see Yorichi again, some other past mark users in that time, so just this whole conversation about the marks and everything is just amazing. Entering the top 10, we have chapter 130 called A Place to Be. This chapter is basically the start of the Hashira training arc, so it's cool to see all the lower Demon Slayer rank characters together just running. We get just the explanation of what the Hashira training arc is. We get this cool line here, you know, that now since Nezuko has conquered the sun, no demons are appearing, and it's kind of the calm before the storm. And we just get more insight on what the Hashira's job was and what they were doing, and that now they have more time to train and stuff. It's cool to see Uzui back as well, you know, seeing Tengen back with the new drip and stuff. Always, this can be so cool to see in the anime. I love those panels as well because it just looks like they're about to drop like a beat of music, bro. They look like some thugs, but yeah, it's cool to see here what each Hashira are the best at, because they basically train the other Demon Slayers. Like, their training is what they're best at. So Uzui is basically the speed and the stamina, Mitsuri is the flexibility, Moichiro is just the high speed movement. So it's just really cool to get to know what each Hashira are the best at. And basically the rest of the chapter is just a moment between Gyu and Tanjiro where Gyu doesn't want to participate, and then this is where we get kind of the backstory about Gyu and why he is so depressed and stuff, and the reveal that he was friend with Sabito. It's a great callback from episode 4 in season 1, and we basically get the backstory of Gyu with Sabito and stuff, and we get basically Gyu's complex of he doesn't see himself as good as the other Hashira, or he doesn't deserve this place as the other one. And so yeah, I think it's just great to get really to know more about Gyu and know why he's like this. At the 9th place, we have chapter 129, to become a marked one. This is basically the big part of the Hashira meeting where we really get to know about how the Hashiras are able to manifest the mark and really get to know what's going on with this mark. It's really cool to see Moichiro, who is the youngest one, the 14 years old one, being able to relay this information and just almost seeming like the wise one, but he's the youngest one. I don't know, I think it's cool that Moichiro is the one to tell all of this. And at the end of the Hashira meeting, it's really cool because the wife of Kagaya is about to tell that the ones that manifest the mark are going to die before the age of 25, but they kind of just cut before they say it. It's kind of just a tease here. Cool. I really love that moment at the end where basically Gyu he basically says that he's not involved and he's not like them. And I really love to see like Sanemi being like this, like just eat it, and them about to fight, but then Guillaume steps in and he literally just claps his hand together and the whole building is shaking. Everyone is just sensing it. Even Sanemi, who's always just like seem like a psycho and like nothing scares him or anything, but in this shot we can really see that even Sanemi is shook by the sound, like everyone is feeling it. I think it's a perfect way to convey Guillaume's power just from that. One of my favorite thing about this chapter as well is Tanjiro getting his sword with Rengoku's hilt on it. So basically Yorichi's sword but with the Rengoku's hilt is just amazing. It looks so cool, it's so symbolic, and it's gonna be great to see Tanjiro rocking that sword now. And that moment at the end is pretty funny with Genya being like, hey, you guys are making too much sound, I just want to sleep here, and Tanjiro is like, yeah, we're done. Then Inosuke just freaking crashes through the window, and yeah, just seeing Inosuke back as well is just great. At the 8th place we have chapter 132, Full Strength Training. Here we really get to see the Hashira training arc through Tanjiro because now he's fully recovered. It's cool to see Tanjiro with Tengen back, and I really hope we can see more of that training in the anime. A little bit of extended content with Tengen would be great. Basically Tanjiro training with everyone, with every Hashira, so seeing him with Moichiro and seeing Moichiro like this, just smiling and stuff, like and it's just amazing to see Moichiro like this. That moment with Tanjiro training with Obanai as well is just amazing because of how much Obanai hates Tanjiro, and just look at this, bro, what is Obanai doing here? And just seeing Obanai fighting against Tanjiro is just great. Like, it's cool to see how Obanai fights just like a snake and stuff. He just looks cool, man. And again, some greatness with Sanemi. Tanjiro starting to train with Sanemi here, just really great as well. And ending the chapter on Genya confronting his brother Sanemi, and even Tanjiro being all beat up and hearing the conversation. I think this from start to finish is just a really good chapter, like not one bad page. At the 7th place we have chapter 135 called Imejima L. So this is the continuation of the conversation between Tanjiro and Genya, talking about how the repetitive action works of basically just thinking forgetting about your memories of anger and pain and just bringing your concentration to its max. I really love that moment of Tanjiro trying to push the boulder and thinking back to his family, thinking back to keep your heart burning, set your heart ablaze, just thinking back to Rengoku, and him finally being able to unlock his mark at will, basically, and him pushing the boulder and stuff. It's a really good moment. We do get as well a little bit of foreshadowing with Zenitsu getting a letter. This is the start of Zenitsu's character arc. The rest of this chapter is basically the interaction between Guillaume and Tanjiro. This is where we really get to know more about Guillaume. We get his backstory, which I really love. And just the interaction between Tanjiro and Guillaume here is amazing because we really start to understand why Guillaume was talking the way he was when he first met Tanjiro in season 1. And just Tanjiro really being honest, saying, yeah, I didn't choose to save the villagers, my sister did. And because of this honesty, Guillaume can trust Tanjiro. I do think in the anime this backstory is gonna be extended, and I'm all for it. I love Guillaume, is my favorite Hashira, so seeing more of his backstory would be great. And it's just really great to know about his backstory, where because of everything that happened with the kids, he just has no trust for kids. He doesn't really like kids because of their selfishness and just the way they're not honest and all that stuff, and they're liars. And so here Tanjiro being a kid, kind of a kid, and being super honest, and now Guillaume really accepts him, and just him saying, from now on I will help you so that you do not take the wrong path. I just love this because Tanjiro's real kind of big brother figure, or just someone that Tanjiro really felt like almost a father figure in a sense, was Rengoku, and you saw how it impacted Tanjiro. And so I feel like this moment with Guillaume saying this, I get the Rengoku vibes here, where Guillaume is almost becoming a father figure for Tanjiro in that moment, or you could just say a big brother figure. And this moment here is just, man, this last page is amazing, bro. Like in those panels, Tanjiro really seems like a kid. He really looks like a kid, you know. And yeah, just Guillaume, as huge as he is, like his hand is bigger than his whole head, and just him patting Tanjiro's head and thinking back to Sayo, the little girl that he was protecting, and him smiling is just a perfect chapter for Guillaume's character. At the 6th place, we have chapter 133, Welcome. This chapter is basically Sanemi and Genya's interaction. This is almost hyped up with the Swordsmith Village arc, where we see Genya's backstory and his motive. So seeing this interaction here is super great. It delivers. When Genya says that he is eating demons to be able to fight, and Sanemi is not happy at all to hear it. He tries basically to stab Genya's eyes, and the art in this chapter is just amazing. Sanemi is just so freaking badass in this chapter, and it's cool because you don't really agree with what Sanemi is doing in the chapter as well. Like, he's trying to hurt his brother, so you're just like, you're a dick, why are you doing this and stuff. But we do get this line of, however, if he quits the Demon Slayer Corp right now, I'll forgive him. So you can already able to understand that he's doing this because he doesn't want Genya to be in the Demon Slayer Corp. And seeing Tanjiro basically stepping up for Genya and standing for Genya and just talking like this to Sanemi as well, it really, man, it just makes the relationship of Tanjiro and Genya so great. And obviously this whole fight between Sanemi and Tanjiro is great, because so far Tanjiro, every time he's fought or tried to fight against Hashira, he was always getting his shit beaten, like no chance. So here, seeing against Sanemi that he's actually able to fight against Sanemi, like on par with him somewhat, and it's definitely one of the best fist to fist fight in the whole series, so it's amazing. And obviously it ends with Inosuke under the waterfall, just training with basically Guillaume. Entering the top 5, we have chapter 131, Visitor. This chapter is the continuation of Gyu's backstory. This chapter is really great for both Gyu and Tanjiro's character, because Tanjiro does relate to Gyu, because Gyu does feel like Sabito deserved to live and he was the one that deserved to die, not Sabito. And so Tanjiro can understand him because he had the same situation with Rengoku. He felt like Rengoku shouldn't have died before Tanjiro, and Tanjiro feels at the blame for it. I just love Sabito, even though we don't get much of him. It's just cool to see Tanjiro talk more about him and saying that Sabito would have been crazy, like he would have been crazy strong if he did survive. And every time we see Rengoku back in a chapter, how can this chapter not be good, bro? Every time Rengoku is on there, it's just peak. And obviously this line where Tanjiro says, "Don't you want to make use of the gift that Sabito gave you?" And then we get this backstory with Sabito and Gyu as well, to basically say that like him wanting to die and not giving it is all because of his sister would basically be a disrespect to her death. So everything here just comes back to Gyu. Gyu gets over it and now he joins the Hashira Trainer arc like everyone. We do get some real important stuff as well with Shinobu and Kanao. First of all, it's cool to see that, you know, as Shinobu says, Kanao is getting better at actually talking and expressing her emotions. And it's cool because it does foreshadow a little bit of something that's gonna be super important in the Infinity Castle arc with Shinobu's plan that she tells to Kanao. And it just ends with some amazing stuff as well with Kagaya's crow, who, by the way, I don't know why, but this crow is badass. He's cool. Like, he's a Chad, but it's cool because he asks basically Tamayo to come help the Demon Slayer Corp, which is massive. I mean, just in season 1, the Demon Slayer Corp wouldn't have accepted help from a demon. Like, it would have never happened. So you can really see how Tanjiro changed everything. It's just really cool to see that now Tamayo is gonna join us and she's gonna be part of the team. Amazing chapter from start to finish. At the 4th place, we have chapter 136, Moving. Again, some little seeds planted here with Tanjiro. He has to say something about Sanemi to Genya that we don't hear, that we're gonna hear about it in the Infinity Castle. Probably the best Zenitsu moment in the whole arc, where we see Zenitsu just first of all looking jacked, but as well just being super serious. And we get this amazing shot of Zenitsu where he's bleeding from his face and he says, "This is something I absolutely must do." You see something that you've never seen in Zenitsu before, like at all, and it's just great because you don't really know like what's going on and why he's like this. And obviously we get the Sanemi versus Gyu fight, which is just amazing. Them fighting with wooden sword and seeing Sanemi's wind breathing for the first time as well is just a really cool choreographed fight. And this is where the craziness really starts at the end of this chapter, where Sanemi is just walking during the night and he hears something in the grass, and when he catches it, there's blood gushing out, and we basically see that it is Nakime's eye that was basically just trying to figure out everything about the Demon Slayer Corp's place and where Nezuko is. And it ends the chapter with some crazy stuff with basically Muzan pulling up on Kagaya, and we get this entrance of Muzan looking drippy, the most drip in the show, bro. And this is just all, I wouldn't call this a plot twist, but it's definitely crazy. Nobody really expect Muzan to pull up on Kagaya just like this that fast. So entering the top 3, we have chapter 138, A Sudden Turn. We start this chapter with kind of a flashback where basically all the Hashiras are talking with Gyome and are asking Gyome that Kagaya should have bodyguards, Hashira guarding him at all times. Even Shinobu says apparently the leaders of House Ubayashiki haven't had guards for generations. And this is where you get the craziness where Sanemi thinks he's gonna get in time, but there's a massive explosion on the mansion of Kagaya. The art in this chapter is one of the best we've seen in the manga so far, for sure. The reaction face of all the Hashiras are just some of the best. It's just amazing. Even those shots, I mean, look at Muzan here burning. I mean, just seeing Muzan burning in the flames like this is insane. Knowing that, you know, Kagaya is dead now, he exploded himself with his wife and his kids, which is absolutely insane. The scenery here is amazing. Muzan in the middle of this hellfire, looking just like a scene from hell, where Muzan is the devil in the middle and just the hell around him is so good. The imagery, the storyboarding here that Gotoge did here is just amazing. Just those shots with Kagaya and the snake around him. Seeing the blood demon arts here activating while Muzan is regenerating. Him getting immobilized. And then Tamayo punching him in the guts. It's just non-stop insanity from page to page. It just doesn't stop. Get more backstory a little bit here with Tamayo as she talked to Muzan. And it ends the chapter with Guillaume basically being part of the plan where he pulls up with Yushiro's bloody minor that makes him basically invisible. And he basically just smashes Muzan's head off. Like he literally cuts Muzan's head off. Obviously you kind of guess that yeah, Muzan is not dying on that, but it's still a crazy moment to see Guillaume in action with his weapon. At the second place we have chapter 137 called Undying. This is the interaction between Muzan and Kagaya. This is probably one of the best chapters in the whole series in terms of dialogue. The dialogue in this is absolutely insane. It's Kagaya has a way with his words, that's for sure. Kagaya is literally the sickest, the weakest man on earth probably, and he is facing the strongest man on earth, invincible, farthest away from being sick, but the one that has the upper hand or seem like he has the upper hand and all of this is Kagaya. It's just amazing to see him like talk to Muzan is shit, like Muzan is shoky. Again, the art in this chapter as well, amazing. Muzan look at his best, like just at this panel here. I mean, even the lines from Muzan, Heaven has never punished me, it has forgiven my killings of 100, and in 1,000 years I have never seen the gods or Buddha. The creepiness and the uneasiness in this chapter as well, with just Kagaya's kids just playing with the ball besides them, like nothing, like Muzan is literally there and they don't even care. It's like super creepy. Again, the lines by Kagaya, eternity is human feeling, only human feelings last forever and are undying, which is a big theme of Demon Slayer, and that's gonna play out in the final arc of this. Again, this chapter is a masterpiece. It's amazing. I mean, look at the imagery here with the tiger, the dragon, all the Hashiras. Like, oh man, this is such a good build up for the next two chapters after this before the Infinity Castle. Kagaya literally being the most badass character in the show, saying if you die all the demons will perish, right? And Muzan is shook. And you end the chapter with basically Kagaya saying his last words, thank you Muzan, and Muzan about to finish him off, and then seeing all the Hashiras getting the emergency summons, hearing that there's an attack on Kagaya on the Ubayashiki mansion, and Sanemi sweating and just speeding, running, and seeing all the Hashiras sweating and like super worried and just running. It's the tension and the stakes I've never been that high almost in the show. It's just crazy. Not gonna lie, those last three chapters were tough to rank because they're so good. Those are probably one of my favorite back-to-back chapters in the whole series. Like, I don't think there's a batch of three chapters that I enjoy as much as those. It's really close with some of the best, man. So at the first place we have chapter 139 called Falling. We start with Kagaya backstory, which is basically narrated by Guillaume. I love this sequence where we see Guillaume talking with Kagaya and basically Kagaya saying, yeah, Muzan is gonna come here soon, just instinct. And basically really here seeing the master really counting on Guillaume, saying I can only count on you. Even him asking to Guillaume to not let any one of his children die. I just love that moment, like for Guillaume as well. You can really see how much trust the master as in Guillaume, and this arc is really good at telling you that Guillaume is the strongest, the wisest, you know, the oldest, the one that the master trusts the most. He is the leader of the Hashiras, and it really shows you why in those chapters. It's great. Seeing Muzan being able to regenerate his head, and Guillaume basically saying, yeah, the only way to beat him is to hold him out until the sun comes up because we can't kill him. We get to see Muzan using a blood demon art, a black blood demon art, which we've never heard. It's something cool and it just looks super dope. You know Ufotable are gonna go crazy with that. We see Guillaume using stone breathing, even able to defend himself against a blood demon art from Muzan. All the Hashiras pulling up and even Sanemi screaming, "Are you the one that did this to Kagaya?" And them all realizing after Guillaume says, "Yeah, this is Kibutsuji Muzan, he's the one." Seeing everyone realizing that this is Muzan, the guy that they hate the most. Again, the facial expressions are amazing. Seeing all of them pissed, I mean, look at the face of Obanai and Sanemi here. And the most anticipated face-off, Tanjiro finally sees Muzan after such a long time. I think the last time that he saw him was like episode 7, and now Tanjiro is a whole different beast since last time. One of the most hype sequence in the old manga is just seeing every Hashiras doing their breeding form one after another. All the Hashiras, all the strongest characters that we know in the show, other than the Upper Moons, are all about to just go all out on Muzan. Even Tanjiro, like, this is one of the craziest scene and hypest scene in the manga. Again, here, after that, Muzan smiling, looking like he has something in store. And then the Infinity Castle opens and everyone gets sent into hell, basically. They all get dragged into the Infinity Castle before they can even land an attack on Muzan. And we get the line of Tanjiro, that basically the same line that he said in episode 7. He's like, "Yeah, no, you're the one going to hell." And it ends with Muzan saying, "Then do it if you can, Tanjiro Kamado." Whoa. Imagine, I do think this will be the cliffhanger for season 4, and it's gonna be brutal. I mean, what a great cliffhanger for the Infinity Castle. After that, everyone is gonna want to read the manga. They're not gonna want to wait for the anime, but this is my ranking of all the 12 chapters of the Hashira training arc. This last chapter is one of my favorite in the old manga. I cannot wait to see this animated. You can bet that I'll be reacting to that and probably pass out. Again, let me know in the comments your own list. I'm really interested to see them. Don't forget to subscribe, because again, there will probably be some news about the Hashira training arc in 2 weeks maybe. And like the video if you enjoy this type of content, and let me know which content you would like me to do about the season 4 Hashira training arc, or even the Infinity Castle. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. See you.